Okay, we're recording.
Awesome. Hey guys, we are here tonight to talk to 9th and 10th grade families about your plans for after you graduate from Waynesboro High School. And the presenters tonight are myself, Kim Wood. I'm the career coach, and actually I'm going to talk a little bit at the end about what a career coach does. I'll let everybody else introduce themselves.
I'm Matt Bailey. I'm a school counselor and director of counseling at the high school.
And he has 2 dogs and a child that he's wrestling with over there. So if you see him moving around, weirdly, that's what's happening.
Sorry.
And I'm Whitney Leach. I'm the counseling intern at WHS this year, but I am currently working on my master's at UVA and have been interning with Mr. Bailey all year.
So we're gonna just go through some information, and then at the end we're gonna have some plenty of question and answer time for folks. So you're welcome to let us know if you have a question. If you know how to use the chat room, I would type it in and we'll see it. But if not, that's fine. Just kind of yell out really loudly, and we'll answer your questions. We're pretty casual. So we're happy to hear anyone that has questions. So I think Whitney's going to start off, so I'm going to let her take over.
All right. So excited to be here tonight. And first we were just going to kind of start talking about why we're even talking about post-graduation right now for 9th and 10th graders. You've got a couple more years left. So thinking through what's the rush? Why are we starting now? It's actually really important to start thinking about what you're going to be doing after you graduate. Starting that planning will help students to stay engaged and on track because it keeps what they're learning relevant to their lives. So a lot of times talking with students, they don't get, why am I still having to take all these classes? What's the point? Well, if you're already thinking ahead to what that career and potentially college plan will be, it makes what they're learning more relevant and makes them helps them to stay engaged in what they actually are learning. It gives them a chance to start developing those interests from getting experience in some different areas, making an actual plan of what they're taking now to kind of explore what they might be interested in, and figuring out what it is they want to do after they leave us, and really starting to create those connections between what they're learning now, what they might want to pursue learning in college after high school, and what career they want to eventually go into. And the big one that I'm sure is really exciting for parents is being deliberate and really thinking through this now saves a lot of time and money. So we'll get into some of the specifics on what that is, but really using your time wisely now can help you save a lot of money down the road, whether it is going into college and not having to spend as much there, or getting some of that job training out of the way in high school. So like I said, we'll spend a little bit more time explaining just how you can be saving that money now, but the more you start thinking about it now and planning for that, the more you can save for your future. So moving on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I don't have control of it.
I have control, I forgot.
So the American workforce has changed a lot in the past few years alone, just thinking about how now a lot of occupations are requiring a combination of academic knowledge and technical skills. So not just school skills, thinking to college, but also figuring out how we can create those technical skills now. So those skills that students can be working on to prepare for college and their careers during high school are broken down into 4 different categories. So you've got your academic skills, which is what you're familiar with. That's the things that you're going to be learning right now in schools, what you might continue to learn in college, those like actual academics. Employability skills are going to be things of like how you act. So things that your teachers are actually teaching you right now as well. So like showing up on time to class, turning work in by a certain deadline, not being on your phone all day during class, those sorts of things. life skills. So that's going to be thinking like how you react to things, being flexible, working on a team with other people, being able to communicate with others, problem solving, those sorts of things. And then technical skills. So what you like actually know how to do, those skills that you're going to be learning to apply directly into a job or career, like learning how to use a piece of equipment or running a software program. And these are all 4 areas that employers are going to be looking for in their employees. And you can be working on all of these things throughout high school while preparing for that college and career later on. And then I think we're flipping it over to Mr.
Yes,
Bailey.
see there.
All right. So, so the steps to get there, you know, if you're thinking 5, 10 years out. So, shh, I'm presenting, buddy, remember? The steps that you want to take now to get to where you want to be in 5 or 10 years. So that's going to be starting out with learning.
I got it, Matt. So we're going to start off with learning about yourself. So learning more about yourself and doing self-evaluations, and then career exploration. And I'm going to go into some detail about each of these areas. Career planning, and then planning out your education, which is kind of what we're thinking about after high school, regardless of whether you're going to college or some other type of educational program. It's good to have a plan laid out. So as far as the self-awareness and self-evaluation, we have some different resources here at the high school. I'm going to jump in, Matt.
Yeah, let's try this one more time. Yep, Enzo's here too. Self-awareness and evaluation. So we have a really nice tool that all of our students have access to for free. It's part of our counseling program, and it's called Major Clarity. It's attached, and we'll show you how to get to it at the end of our presentation. It's a tool where you can go in and take assessments, which is looking at things that you like doing versus things that you're good at doing, and what that might mean as far as jobs and careers. You can also check out asking your friends and your family and your teachers, you know, what do they think you're good at? What do you, you know, what kind of pathway did they take to get to where they are now? Because a lot of us didn't start out in our 20s doing what we do later on in life. And then also always meet with your career coach, who is Mrs. Wood, and your counselors as well.
So career exploration, again, it's back to Major Clarity. Again, there's some exploration activities available on Major Clarity that you can do. So once you kind of drill down into different areas that you're interested in that come up in your interest inventory and in your skills inventories and in your the way you learn, you can there'll be some activities available under each job that just have a little quick taste of what it might be like to be in that career. But also there are interviews you can watch and other activities to do. Research on this great thing called the internet is always a good idea when you're talking about looking into careers. The worst place you can find out about careers is on TV or in movies. The best place is talking to people in the field, or that you may know, your parents may know. That's a great way to find out more about jobs. YouTube has so many videos about jobs and about a day in the life of. Obviously you have to be careful on the internet, but I think that's a great resource. College websites, not just for looking at colleges, but when you start looking at different majors, they'll have information that is specific to the major about what kind of jobs that you can get with that major, and then oftentimes more information about those specific careers. Taking classes in your career pathway. I'm going to touch on that at the end of the presentation about the career pathways we have here at Waynesboro. So for example, if you're interested in going into construction, maybe you take building trades here at the high school. Maybe you take a CAD class so you can learn more about design. Maybe you think about taking an extra geometry or math class because you might need to know about measuring and understanding depth and perception and things like that. That job shadowing and mentorship, also great opportunities that are available here at the high school. Mentorship is a program that we offer for students that are in 11th and 12th grade, that you take a half a day and go outside of the building and do a kind of internship situation where you get credit here at the high school. And that is an awesome way to learn about different jobs and also to find out if you do like something or you don't like something. And then we've been offering some summer and after school programs for students. This summer, we're doing a barbering class. We've had several construction classes. We're going to be doing a mechanical trades class in the fall, and we're going to be trying to expand that into some healthcare classes soon. So just keep an eye out for that. There's also a list of different types of enrichment programs for all grades that is available on the Career Coach website, which I'll show you at the end of the presentation. So then you're going to be thinking about career planning. So once you've started thinking about some different ideas for your career, you want to think about goals that would align with that. So setting out a plan is a really important part of this process. And we're going to do some career planning. We're going to talk about career planning and educational planning, and that goes hand in hand because you need to have a plan to be able to reach your goal. Now you can change your plan, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute because I know not everybody, I know I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was in 9th and 10th grade, and we certainly don't expect you to do that. That's part of the career exploration piece of this. But starting to do the career planning is a really big part of this. And certainly by the time you're in 12th grade, it's a good idea to at least have your plan kind of laid out. And again, you can change it. It's not a big deal, but it's a good idea to proceed with a plan. So different parts of that would be not just kind of setting off a goal. I don't encourage students to pick a specific career. For example, I don't think you need to say, I'm going to be a nurse in a NICU. I think that it's more important to think, I'm really interested in health sciences. Or if you're not even ready to take that jump, I'm really interested in biology, or I'm interested in sciences. So you can kind of narrow it down as you go through your planning and your education. And that's the important thing, because that helps you kind of stay in the lane. Things are a little different in college now than they used to be, and I'll talk about that when we get to the educational part as far as picking your major and staying in your lane. So researching entry-level jobs and job outlooks. So a lot of times students will come to me and tell me they want to do jobs because they make a certain amount of money, or they think that they're in high demand. So that can vary a lot. So for example, entry level is a lot different than median. So median is something that you make after a few years of working, more training. That's the middle range of how much people make. Parents usually understand this, but students need to understand that. And oftentimes you might start at a much lower salary. Also, you have to think about back to that interests and abilities. Are you going to be good at this job that you've picked, or is it just something you picked because of the money? So if you're not going to be good at it, you're not going to make as much money as somebody in the median. So you need to think about those things. Are your skills going to align with that? But also job outlook. So I don't discourage students from looking into fields that are kind of harder to get jobs in or harder to find jobs in, but I do tell them to think about it. So you definitely want to do a little research and understand how many jobs are out there, how many jobs are going to be out there, and also where are the jobs. So for example, if you're going to be in certain, well, I can give an example. My daughter's in biomedical engineering. Pretty sure she's probably not going to come to Waynesboro or Stanton and work in biomedical engineering right now. So she's going to have to move somewhere and work. So that's something that you have to think about when you're planning your career. So I think you cannot do too much career exploration while you're in high school. I think that career exploration in every way, shape, and form that I mentioned earlier, talking to people, mentorships, job shadowing, we do on normal years. Obviously, this year was a little different. We do a lot of the touring and field trips and things that are career centered. There's usually a lot of what we call work-based learning outside of the school. That's really helpful. The more you do of that stuff, the more you're going to kind of have an idea of what you want to do when you get to college. I'm going to mention this again. I probably won't mention it again after this, but I do have 2 kids that have either gone through college or in college, and both of them did a lot of career research, shockingly, because their mom's a career coach, while they were in high school, and they both knew what they wanted to major in when they got to college, and they stayed in their major, and they both are getting graduated and working, and the other one is in the same major. And I think it's because they did spend a lot of time doing and exploring and experiencing. And that's really the best way to know what you want to do and to get yourself to your first career goal. So also knowing what education is actually required is a big thing. And I'm going to move into the educational planning. But a lot of students will come to me and tell me that they want to go to college, for example. And then when I start talking to them, I find out that whatever their plans are for their career does not require college. And so that's an important thing to know, how much education is required. Or they'll be very, very, very poor students and they want to be a pediatrician. Not that they can't do that, because sometimes I've seen students go to college and make completely different change, but they have to know that they're going to have to change their whole approach to school when they dive off into that kind of pool. So it's important to know what kind of education is required, what kind of certifications and what kind of technical skills are important too. If you're somebody who is not good at working with your hands and you are looking at a job that is very heavy with learning how to use your hands or manipulating things, that might not be a good fit for you. Maybe you need to get into a career that's more interacting with people. So it's important to know what your skills are and what you're good at. So the educational planning is kind of the really big part of, I think, at this age. Once they get to 11th and 12th grade, you all get to 11th and 12th grade, it's really important to really start thinking about this. Start thinking about laying out a plan. I have a lot of students that come to me in 12th grade, second semester, and say, I don't know what I want to do. I'm just going to go to Blue Ridge and take some classes. So I'm all for Blue Ridge, and I'm going to get to that in a minute, but it is not a good idea to just go out and start taking random classes at any college, because I will guarantee that you will take classes that will not count towards your graduation. It's the way that college works now is very different than it was when it's definitely different than when I came through 100 years ago. It's even different when Mr. Bailey went through 50 years ago. So I think that it's a good idea to at least have a little bit of a plan. Like I said earlier, maybe you don't know exactly what job you want to be in, and I don't think that that's even a good idea, but I want to be in a science major, or I want to study welding or whatever, so that you can have a plan laid out. So take the information that you found when you were doing your career planning and sit down with your career coach or your counselor and lay out a plan of how you're going to get there. We have, again, there's some career pathways documents, which I will show you at the end of this presentation, of things you can do at Waynesboro while you're in high school to help you kind of check off boxes and do some of that career exploration, but also complete some of this education while you're in high school. And that gets me to... Go ahead.
I was going to just add a little bit while maybe my house is quiet. So I would say that the educational planning during high school is just as important as planning for what you want to do after high school. So if you're working with your counselor to select your course request for next year, and as 11th or 12th grader that you want to spend time at Valley Tech, let's talk about that now, even though you're going into 10th grade, so that we can make sure that we get the right classes done in 10th grade, so that you get them out of the way and you have room in your schedule to do the classes that you want to do in 11th and 12th grade. Same thing with mentorship. The earlier you know, the better we can help you find a place to go for a mentorship block. We can talk with you about all of these different aspects of your high school planning to set you up so that you have the most options available. That's why it's so important to do as well as you can in high school, so that you get the opportunity to take advantage of everything that we have. And the stronger that you are academically and as a student, the more opportunities you'll have moving forward.
So, these are some of the things you can be doing in high school: mentorship, going to Valley Tech, Valley Career and Technical Center, which will show you some of the programs. There's lots of great options that you can get certifications. Certifications are kind of I would say most parents would consider them the new buzzword. It's newer. It's been around for a couple of years, but people are, this is very important right now, that you have not only certifications, and you're accumulating those certifications which show that you have technical skills. So they kind of go back to those technical skills, and that's what they are. They're showing that you have those technical skills. But also some academics, and not necessarily a college degree, but if that's necessary in the career you're looking at, but that you can do things like write a little bit, at least, do some math, measure, that kind of stuff. And then if you're planning to go to college, some things that you want to definitely be paying attention to as rising 10th, 11th, and 12th grade is that you are going to your counselor and saying, I'm planning on going to college. You need to make sure your academic schedule is as strong as you can handle. Now, that does not mean everyone needs to be taking the maximum number of AP and dual enrollment classes they can possibly take. That means that you are challenging yourself, that you are taking a good load so that you are challenged. But you do not want to just take easy classes and get all A's. That's not going to be, that's not going to look good on a college application. And tomorrow night, when we're talking to the 11th graders, which any 10th grade parents, y'all are welcome to come and see tomorrow night, same time, same place. We're going to be talking a lot about academic schedule. Do you want to talk about, Matt, I can't tell if you're able to talk or not. Okay. So dual
At this exact moment, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. I just didn't want to keep talking. So dual enrollment is an option that we have here at Waynesboro High School. And we have lots of dual enrollment options. And I'm actually going to talk a little bit about that at a later slide. And the same with the AP classes. Students need to remember that when you're in high school, grades are important. It's important that you do it your best and that you are performing well in your classes, especially if you're planning to go to college. But there are lots of other options for after graduation, including technical school. The military is really something that should not just be written off. There are lots of things that are available in the military that are either better training in the military or at least cheaper training in the military. Also apprenticeship and work experience that you can obtain. So yay, everybody's favorite slide, saving time and money. Do you want to talk about, Whitney, you going to do this one? Or am I doing it?
I'll do some, yeah.
Okay.
So several things that you can take advantage of to save you time and money in the long run. First thing would be attending some of our regional programs like Valley Career and Technical Center. They have all kinds of different programs for 11th and 12th grade students. Some of them are 2-year programs where you go for half a day for 2 years. Some of them are 1-year programs where you go for half a day for 1 year, and you could stack them. So if you did like a CNA program for nurse assisting, and then the second year you did emergency medical technician, you could do 2 of those in high school. The really nice thing about this is that you're getting those job skills, you're getting those interpersonal skills by taking these classes, and you're saving money because as a high school student, they are very inexpensive compared to as an adult. Taking some of these exact same classes can cost you hundreds or thousands of dollars. One good example is cosmetology, where the Valley Tech program is a couple $100s for the kit with the mannequin and all the items that you need for the class, and it's good for 2 years. Whereas if you go to a cosmetology program here locally after you graduate and maybe work for a little bit and go back to school, that program is around $16,000. So, you're going to save a lot of time and money by taking advantage of these classes early on. Dual enrollment and advanced placement courses. So these are good if you're thinking about going into a 2-year program, if you're thinking about going into a 4-year college, because you can transfer some credit in and kind of be ahead of the game. So dual enrollment means you're actually enrolled at Blue Ridge Community College and at Waynesboro at the same time. So they're classes that are taught by our teachers, but you're getting college credit for it, and you're starting your college transcript. And the really cool thing about it is that it's only 20% of the regular Blue Ridge price. So Blue Ridge is already pretty affordable, and you're only paying 20% as a high school student. So usually around a little over $100 per class. And you can get some of your gen eds out of the way, like English and math, and maybe even some elective credits out of the way that we offer as dual enrollment. So when you go to college, you're not paying full price for those. AP classes, advanced placement, those are college level classes that we offer. They also have a lot of those, and the dual enrolled at the Governor's School, which is a magnet program for STEM or for the arts and humanities. AP classes are kind of nationally recognized, where it's a curriculum that's put through by the College Board, and our teachers follow that curriculum. So if you go to a college somewhere, you might be able to transfer that credit in. You have to take the test at the end of the course for advanced placement in order for you to transfer the credit, and you have to score high enough. So every college kind of has their own requirement as far as the score that you need on your AP test in order to transfer credit in. So I always tell students to check out the College Board, especially as they're getting close to senior year and when they're applying to colleges, to see, okay, I took English 11 as an advanced placement course. I got a 3 on the test. Can I transfer that into any of the colleges that I'm applying to? So then, you're saving time and you're saving money by not having to retake those classes in college for that full price. Again, they all kind of, it depends on where you go. Some programs, it doesn't matter if you took it as an AP, you're going to take, that class at UVA for a particular program. It just really, it kind of depends on the individual college or university. And then certifications, these are good to take advantage of through Valley Tech or through some of our classes here at the high school. And by getting those certifications, you're getting ahead, or maybe you're getting a way of having a job after high school, so that you have a decent job opportunity while you're going to school or while you're figuring out what you want to do later on. And so certifications are a great way of adding to your resume and getting some job skills to open doors for you after high school.
And certifications also are getting more and more in demand for students that are in specific types of programs in college too. So for example, if you're going into a healthcare program in college, they really want to see you have some kind of certification at some point. And so sometimes it's better just to go ahead and get it done while you're in high school, that you have the opportunity. It kind of depends on your plan. That's one of those things where you want to talk to your counselor and talk to me about what your plan is, and we can help you figure out the best way to do that. So I know, like I said earlier, I know that nobody in 9th grade usually knows exactly what they want to do, and that is totally fine. And that is why we go back to that career exploration and finding out all different things that you like and you don't like. But even if you got to 12th grade or even 2 years out and you changed your plan, that's okay. You can change it. You can pivot and make a new plan and just do something different. But it's important to try to lay the plan out so that you can follow it to your goal. I promise that it will go better regardless of whether you change your mind or not if you do lay a plan out. So I want to show you some of the resources we have here at the high school. And all of these are different links that I actually have up behind here. So I'm going to close this, it'll be faster, but I'm going to show you how to get to all of these links from our college, our counseling office and career coach webpage. So the counseling office webpage is on the main high school webpage, and there's all kinds of information here. And we always have all of our announcements here. Whatever the current announcements are, they're on this webpage, and there's always a lot. And your students get these every couple weeks, if not every week. They get emails from us every 2 days. I guarantee you they get an email from somebody in the counseling office. I also guarantee you they ignore them a lot. But you know, we get it. But there's so much information here, and I would encourage you to check out the stuff. It takes a lot of time. Some of it's really specific to seniors, for example. There's a career and college and career worksheet that they have to fill out. It's a how-to video, but there's a lot of stuff that's specific to students in 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade that you might want to look at. And then again, college information, career exploration. I'm going to show you guys the YouTube channel because we have a lot of YouTube videos here. So Mr. Bailey was talking about our Major Clarity platform, which I meant to have so I could log in. Okay, so I'm logged out. So this is a really cool resource. There's a link on the counseling office page and also a link on my page, which I'll show you in a moment. But students can log in here. I think as parents and guardians, you can set up an account, but students log in with their Google account from Waynesboro High School. And there's directions for that. Oh, shoot, that's the wrong one. Sorry. There's directions for that at all of the, on my website. And there's, like Matt was showing you, there's all different kinds of information on here. They can do assessments. Some of them have already done these assessments. They can sit down with me or one of their counselors and do some of the stuff and look over it. There's lots of career exploration. So they can look at different things. This is a popular one, psychology, lots of people talking about that. So you can watch an interview with a psychologist. You can do an activity, all kinds of information. And there is a step-by-step on this on my website. And again, this is on the school website. My website's really big. I'm not gonna even I'm not even gonna lie. It's really hard to get around and it's really big, but it has a lot of information. So there's a virtual career center that we change every couple weeks. And if you click on these little links, it takes you all different kinds of places with announcements. Depending on what's going on, there's all kinds of stuff on here. There's some really good videos down here I'd recommend watching if you have time. But up here, there's a 9th grade career planning and a 10th grade career planning little section. And that's really, you know, a good place to start. Also, like I was saying, there's the Major Clarity step-by-step, how to do it, where everything is. There's also some other career exploration stuff. These are the career pathways. Let's see, do I have? These are the career pathways sheets we were talking about. And I'm just going to show you an example of one. There are a whole bunch of them for all different pathways. I think we've got almost everything that we have covered here at the high school is covered on here. I'm just going to show you the health
Mrs. Wood
sciences.
made these specific for the high school. So these are all our classes and all of our data.
Right, and we try to keep them updated. But this one's for health sciences, for example. We have a lot of students interested in health science. And so the way this is set up is these are just a few things they can look at. So if you just want to get a high school diploma, here's a couple jobs that you could do with that. If you want to get a bachelor's degree for your degree, here's a couple jobs you could do with that, and so on. There's some credentials you can get through some way at Waynesboro High School. Other school classes that are recommended, courses that are recommended, majors, things you can do at Blue Ridge, things you can do outside of school to get involved. We highly recommend first aid career for any students that are interested in healthcare, and then more other careers. But there are different pathways for all different kinds of things on here. And this is on my website, but it's also on the counseling website. It will be in the program of studies when it gets reposted. So it's around for you to look at. There's also information about Valley Tech, mentorship, all kinds of things. So this is just a good resource to check things out. Another thing that I wanted to point out is especially 10th graders, because you're going to be thinking about this probably next year when you're in 11th grade, if you are going to go to college. We don't push anybody into college. That's your decision, and we will help you. Your decision is to figure out what your career goal is, and then we'll help you figure out how to get to your career goal. But there is a very large list of links on this website that can help you look into all different kinds of information about college. And this is under planning for college. You just click on that. So there's all kinds of information here that I would recommend you checking out. So financial aid and scholarships, again, that's something that you would start looking at maybe next year or even senior year. I have a whole process that I recommend for students of the way they apply for college. And you can start with scholarships whenever you want to, but really you have to really start banging on them about midway through your fall of your senior year. You need to be doing 1 or 2 every week or 2. So don't worry about it now. We'll start reminding you later. This is one of the links that's on that list. It's called Big Future, and it's on College Board, and it's a great way to look at colleges. Okay, but we also, like I was showing you, we have lots of other information on here, specifically Valley Tech. I'm a big fan of Valley Tech for all those reasons that Mr. Bailey was listing. So, did I shut down my, there it is. So we want to be able to give y'all time if anybody has any questions, because I know we just kind of threw up a lot of information at you. Oh, did I show you the YouTube channel? We have a YouTube channel for the counseling office, and there is information on here specifically for all different grades, but I would recommend for 9th and 10th graders that they're looking at virtual learning. We had this done for the teachers, asked us to do this. They were getting emails with the whole email in the subject line. And then there's a whole video about major clarity and how to do it step by step. So I would, high school students, definitely check it out. There's all kinds of college visits on here as far as people that have come to visit us. There's another whole thing about if you want to go look at colleges virtually. So I wanted to see if anybody had any questions, and we're happy to answer specific or general questions if anyone has any. About what the student should be doing now. I think the biggest thing for 9th and 10th graders is just to be exploring and understanding that there are a lot of different things out there that are not things they see on television. And specifically, the things they see on television are not real. I have a lot of students come in and depending on what's popular on television, asking me about different jobs. And, we have that discussion a lot. And YouTubing is a really big thing I hear a lot about from different students. And I've not ever told any student they couldn't do a job. I've had students come in and tell me all kinds of things, and I tell them to go back and do some research and come back and talk to me. I've actually done a lot of research on YouTubing, so happy to talk to them about it. It's not easy, and it's not something that's really, very lucrative for normal people. It's kind of like being famous. So it's very hard to do. That's the big job I get right now. That's why I'm mentioning it. And if anybody wants to just type into the chat, you're welcome to do that too. I don't see any action, Mr. Bailey. That's okay.
Cool.
Do you have any other things to add?
Thank you, everybody. No, I think you summed it up really well.
So the main thing with the 9th and 10th graders, like I said, is exploring and thinking about what they're interested in, what they like doing. We can help them figure it out after that. And doing well in school. I tell them that too all the time. I'm not used to silence on Zoom. All right. Well, thanks everybody
All right.
for coming
Thank you,
and
everybody.
joining us on a evening. We appreciate it.